in the freestyle technique, and then tomorrow we go to the other extreme for the last two races, both men and women racing over 50 kilometers, and it's classic style, a mass start race for both the men and the women. 3 or 4 minutes away now from the qualification rounds for women going first in the freestyle team sprints. We have 23 teams from 16 nations, 1 or 2 of those nations putting in 2 teams, and 1 team that we're going to call the FIS Team 1, made up of Magdalena Schurz of Austria and Andorra's Gina Del Rio. They are wearing bib number 15. Ian Woods and Posey Musgrave with you for the rest of the day and tomorrow's races. Posey, we know who the favourites are in the...
towards the stadium, but then you have a right turn, another sharp uphill with a fast downhill into the stadium.
Well, there's your start lists for today. The first leg runners, those wearing, it will be red and bib number 11, for example, or if you're Estonia, it'll be 17-1, Kidi Kasiku. They will go first in qualification, and then their teammates, who will be the athletes that finish the race later on, they will go second. We have 46 athletes in total in the women's qualification rounds. First to go for Finland is Yasmin Kahara. Finland won the last team sprint. That was in Konya at the end of January in northern Italy. But it was Jonsu who's in the team 1 for Finland, but Kahara racing with her on this occasion. Back then, when they won, the only time they've won this year, it was Niskanen.
This should be a pretty straightforward task for a lot of these faster teams today. So we've got 23 teams lining up in the women's, and the top 15 will get through to the final later on. So realistically, I think most of these top-ranked teams, the likes of Sweden, Finland, Germany, you know, they'll need to, you don't want to be too complacent. You have to make sure you put in the work to get around in good time, but they should be comfortable to get through.
Well, it's great to be able to finish the season in sunshine. We've endured every kind of condition this winter. To be fair, there's not really been one of those occasions, I can't remember one actually, where it was just bitterly cold. Can you think of one?
Stretching my memory back now.
Ruka wasn't bad.
Ruka wasn't as, that would be the one that you would expect
Probably,
to be, but
yeah.
It wasn't as bitterly cold as it can be sometimes.
Lillehammer wasn't too bad. And then we headed south to the sunshine of Central Europe. So I think we've been quite fortunate this year. Well, first away, Yasmin Kahara of Finland in bib number 11. 6th overall yesterday. Finland with 6th and 8th. Jonsu, who is paired with Kahara in 8th place. Kahara making the final, but 6th out of 6 in that final. Here's the course again. The snow's looking reasonably well pressed. They would have pieced this last night, Posey, wouldn't they? And allowed it to settle overnight.
Yes, and it has been fairly cold through the night. So although we got bright sunshine and it's warm in the day, which is in many ways really nice spring skiing. You get the benefit of the sunshine while you're out, but it does soften through the day. But we're early enough just now that the tracks are still quite firm. Yesterday, when we were doing the qualifying, it was much later in the day, so it softened over the course of it, but not so much just now.
Now it looks a little easier going than it did yesterday. So quickest time yesterday for the women, Federica Casol, was 3:11 when Yasmin Kahara crosses the line. We'll get a sense. There was a 7-second gap yesterday between quickest and 30th place Sam Smith, completing this course in 3 minutes and 18 seconds. She's racing today for the USA, going in bib number 20/1.
Yeah, I expect we may be a little bit quicker this morning. It does look much harder packed, as you say. I think still nice and firm, whereas you could see by the end of the qualifying it was pretty, not slushy, but there was some deep snow to work through, whereas here it's nice and hard.
Second of the 2 hills on this course.
Maintaining some good speed up the hill here. This is certainly the hardest part of the course. It's longer than that first hill, so it's just about trying to maintain smooth, steady skiing over the top, and then accelerating really well as you get up to this point, accelerating well into that downhill and carrying good speed into the stadium.
Now they've created more of a loop at the top of that hill now, so everyone has to go a little wider around it. There isn't a sort of a complete U-turn at the top. There's a little line of markers that you have to ski around to take you wider. That probably reduces the likelihood of clashes at the top of the hill a little.
Yeah, and it will be, we had 6 in the heats yesterday. That's the number that you have in the sprints today. 15 teams will be going off together, so it's going to be a little bit busy out there, particularly for the first couple of laps until things start to spread out.
Yeah, more traffic early on for sure. So here we go. 3:11 was the quickest time yesterday, and Kahara just inside that time. She would have been a couple of seconds slower than that. Hagström set off 15 seconds behind her and has made up 3.3.
Yeah, 3:07, so good bit quicker than yesterday, and the tracks look absolutely perfect coming down that finishing straight. That's a skier's dream, just seeing those freshly pisted tracks like that.
Yeah, especially this time of year. Gimler comes through in third, having set off third. Moa Lundgren is next, so Sweden 2. Behind her, Switzerland's first team, Anja Wiebe, 18th overall yesterday, but I think the gap suggesting she's going to be off the pace of Lundgren. Yeah. Next is Matilda Mørvold, Norway.
Good time from Hagström. Everyone else is a bit more bunched together, but that Hagström almost 3 seconds in front of the time from Lundgren, so she's not hung about. I said it shouldn't be too difficult to qualify today, but she clearly did not want to leave anything to chance.
Here's Katarina Gans paired with Federica Casol, yesterday's quickest qualifier. You mentioned yesterday, still learning all of the tactics associated with sprinting.
Yeah, did well to get through to the semi-finals, so I think that's the first time she's made it through that next step from quarterfinals up to semis. So it's all just about keeping on qualifying consistently, and then you start to learn from going through the heats.
Stuart Jones of Canada 2 it is. Canada 2 wearing bib number 8, Canada 1 in 11. Not sure why they've gotten the other way round.
Yeah, it's odd. The Canadians obviously, and looking on paper, you would say Canada 1 of Gagnon and Schmidt should be stronger than Canada 2, which is Stuart Jones and Alison Mackey. But the start list here is done by the 5th points, which is a sort of ranking system.
That's helpful. So here comes Canada 1 now, Gagnon.
Stuart Jones was quite a bit behind there, 16 seconds back.
Yeah.
Wonder if she had a little trip or something, actually, because everyone else is within 10 seconds, so either just a bit sluggish, hasn't quite woken up, or had a bit of a trip on course.
Sophie Krell, bib number 12, currently in 10th. Havlikova of Czechia is next. We are 13 teams into it with 23, another 10 to finish. Leah Fischer of Switzerland 2. She's comes through 9 seconds down. And here comes Del Rio of Andorra, paired with Schurz of Austria. No surprises that she puts in a good time. I don't have the time from Magdalena Schurz of Austria yesterday. I actually don't even know if she raced, but I suspect she did. The Kasiku sisters not racing in the same team. Her sister, Kidi, following her now, both doing leg one for the two Estonian teams. Look at that. They are always so close.
Neck and neck.
It's extraordinary. Sure, there will be PhD students and scientists just clamoring to run tests on them. You don't get that kind of opportunity. Identical twin sisters doing the same sport and just sort of matching one another. Impressive, really. Here's Canton of France. Sammy Smith next of the USA. Looked pretty dynamic yesterday, Sammy. Another athlete who's really learning how to race, sprinting. She's got the engine, she's tough. She seems to have the head, but in terms of mental strength, but so much to learn. But a good team to learn from. Next will be Lee of Korea. And then Poland and China, the last two teams.
So Poland's actually made 15 seconds up on Korea here. So it's a good ski by Poland.
Poland with just one team competing today, and I'm not sure that's going to be good enough. Of course, it depends on what a teammate does, but she has a lot of work to do now. Only the top 15 teams going through, so 8 of these not going to qualify. That is it. As Chen crosses the line, Hagstrom, quickest by a fairly chunky margin. 2:87 ahead of teammate, or national teammate at least, Moa Lundgren in second. Yasmin Kahara in third. 3:10.36, 3:30 behind Hagstrom. Del Rio in fourth. There's the teams. Germany won both Norwegian teams, and Switzerland. Finland 2 also currently in the running. Italy, Canada. Given that only 8 of these teams will not make it, then all of those are likely to get through, able to field 2 reasonably strong athletes. A few minutes to go before round 2. The first away will be this year's Sprint World Champion, or Crystal Globe winner, I should say, technically. World Cup winner, not World Champion, Yasmi Yonsu.
Yeah, good to see that FIS team in the mix there. I think it's a really a good rule by FIS to allow to have these mixed nations teams in the events like this, just to give athletes from smaller nations a chance to have a run out.
I guess it's also useful that at this end of the season there aren't tiny margins dividing the Nations Cup competition, in which case having Del Rio racing and Magdalena Schurz racing, if they got second or a third, that would deny another team some fairly important points. It's not going to matter so much. at this end of the season, so probably a executive decision, a good one for everyone involved to allow those mixed teams. How likely are they ordinarily to allow two teams early on in the season? Thinking back,
I think the rules still apply. I think they still let those teams in because, again, I think it's just about trying to promote the sport in developing nations. And you know, Andorra's not necessarily developed. I mean, it's a small nation, but it's a snow nation, I suppose. But I think it's something as a rule they do allow through the season.
Leg 2 of the qualification rounds for the women's team sprint. Jonsu in bib number 1/2. Dahlqvist for Sweden. 23 athletes about to go. Kate Holden racing with Sammy Smith for the USA. Only one American team in. No Diggins, no Kate, no Julia Kern this morning.
Yeah, I was a little surprised not to see Julia Kern on the start list because I thought that she is much more of a sprinter and I thought she'd enjoy having a last run out, but that suggests she's also keen to have a bash at the 50k tomorrow.
Yeah, and I think, you know, your phrase having a bash, it would be a surprise, but that is how I think over the years the Americans just exploring, taking a few risks, experimenting here and there. That's how they've slowly built up that super strong team. So Jasmi Joensuu of Finland, for once not wearing a red bib in a sprint race, but getting all of the cheers from the crowd. They're a contender for a podium today. They've won one team sprint this year, and on current form they're in the running for top 3. She was second quickest, I think, yesterday, Joensuu, behind Federica Casol. Dahlqvist goes off 15 seconds behind her, finished 10th in the sprints yesterday. Here's yesterday's winner. A little surprised, everyone delighted. Last opportunity to win an individual sprint race. And look at that, the same power we saw as she skied into the finish yesterday to take first place. We're going to stay with Ridzek, I think, and watch how she skis the course as Moa Ilar gets away. Next to go will be Nadine Feindrich of Switzerland.
Yeah, we're getting a nice opportunity again to see the course. We followed Kahara around on the first leg, and now we'll see Ridzek head round the course again for the second lap skiers. And what a great race she had yesterday. I think just I don't think even she quite believed she'd done it. It was really nice to see a new face on the top of the podium, and the surprise and delight on the face of all the German team as well.
Yeah, they were screaming at her across the fence as she came down the home straight. It was really magnificent. She is out on course, as is Federica Casol, who set off 15 seconds behind her. She's not likely to have the quickest time, unless, of course, she's a bit miffed about yesterday. A bit miffed. I don't know how you say that in Norwegian, but I'm sure she's got a good word for it. So, long-ish downhill, and then you start to work before another short break, about 10 seconds or so, before the last really hard bit, for it to be significant, but not so long that it absolutely wipes you out.
No, I think on this qualifying leg, the key to both of these hills is to I don't want to say pace necessarily, I'm not sure if pacing is quite the right word in the sprint, but to make sure that you really have your top speed over the top of the hill, because they're both followed by these downhill sections. So you want to take some good speed and get a good tuck and glide into the downhill section. So accelerating right over the top, particularly on this second one here, where you've got this sort of quite sweeping bend now. It's much longer. You've got to really work hard and push into the downhill.
Here comes Yonsu. She's not going to go ahead of Hagstrom. Oh, 6:47 off the pace of Hagstrom is a bigger chunk than I expected from Yonsu. Is that a sign that the tracks are already slowing down, deteriorating a little, warming up for sure, but not massively?
I don't know if it's pretty short time gaps to slow down that significantly. They only started about 15 minutes after, so maybe more a sign of a bit of fatigue from Yonsu after she's maybe thought, well, I've got that crystal globe now, so I'm going to relax a little bit. They are all coming in consistently slower, but I think apart from anything else, that time of Hagstrom was a cut above everyone else. So we're seeing 6, 7, 8 seconds here, but actually remember back to second place, that's only really 3 seconds. Oh, Ela in the same kind of boat though. Shouldn't make that much difference in just 15 minutes.
No, you would have thought so.
They are all slower, fair to say.
Heinrich, the winner on Wednesday in Tallinn. Third yesterday. She's stuck.
I mean, the key here is just qualifying, so it doesn't matter too much. Like, that was not a fast time from Skistad. She's 12 seconds down, but her teammates well in the Mirvolds far enough up the result sheet there in 7th, so she doesn't need to worry about that too much.
Of course, everyone knowing it's 8 teams that won't qualify, and there will have already been some analysis of the first round, seeing how much effort these guys have to put in just to qualify, and it doesn't really matter who are the quickest qualifiers. All 15 set off together, one large mass start, no heats to get through.
Yeah, there's some very small advantage maybe in terms of lane choice and positioning at the start of the race. You'll get the fastest seeded teams will get front row starts, but over the course of 6 laps, I think there's plenty of time for that to balance out.
Here comes Sonia Schmidt of Canada. Canada likely to qualify both teams. It's not bad. They're quicker. Qualifiers in round 2. Marina Veit, nearly 10 seconds down. Next will be Antosova of Czechia.
Yeah, no, we talked yesterday about the consistency of Yanatova through the season, but it's one of the rare occasions we're not seeing her race today. So that long season perhaps catching up with her and taking a break before starting the 50k tomorrow.
It would suggest that she is going to do the 50k, given that she is in reasonable form. Good time from Alina Meyer of Switzerland. Here's Magdalena Schurz of Austria racing with Del Rio.
Actually pretty good from her. Again, one of the faster of the second leg skiers. So that's a good time for that team. They're sitting in 3rd now. And guaranteed qualification, you can just see on the screen there. The ones with the big queue are those that are guaranteed to go through already while we wait for these last starters to come in. Estonia 2 just outside. And
Lilin Pera for Finland. Oh, that's good. Well inside. 7th quickest team. Norway won in 14th place.
I think it's a little confusing the way this is done, because of course the times are the two added up together, so it doesn't always quite work out quite as the math suggests it will do just there by the time we get the time of the second leg skiers added on. But yeah, Norway won. I mean, Skistad was a fair way back there, so
USA comfortably inside. They only have one team racing. Han of Korea gonna struggle, given that they already have a 28-second deficit to make up. Not gonna happen.
I have to say Norway won, qualifying 15th. That is cutting it a little bit fine there. I'm not sure if Skistad really intended to. I'm putting it all on Skistad, of course. It's not just her, it's a team effort, and she's in with Matilda Myhrvold, but Myhrvold qualified 7th fastest, so I think that suggests to me that Skistad was maybe a little too casual.
Yeah, I'm sure she takes advice, you know, the coaches just before the start of the race. Okay, you can relax, you don't have to push it hard. But
she was down in 37th fastest of the 46, and 12 seconds down. There's absolutely no way that's her putting in full steam. And yeah, you know, it's wise, you want to save something, and we did say those teams should qualify, but that's maybe a little bit of a sprint down the finish line. But I guess she's through, so she's done what she needed to.
Yeah, you don't need to tell Skistad to relax, because she does ordinarily anyway, doesn't she?
She's good at that one.
A good time from Alina Meyer, pushing Switzerland a little further up. Switzerland 2.
Kate Oldham as well, actually, late starter, but had one of the fastest times of those second lap skiers, so that's helped. I think they should have gone through anyway, but that's guaranteed the USA that spot in the final.
Sweden, Finland and FIS 1, with Norway 2 in 4th. Norway 1 in 15th.
Too close for my liking.
Tight. France 1 not making it through. Slightly bigger start list for the men, 46 women and 70 on the start list for the men. Two teams have dropped out though. We know that Italy won, sadly, are not racing today. That involved David Graz and Federico Pellegrino. Shame to see them not racing. And Poland won, have also decided not to start. So no Poland team. Actually, Poland have a second team, bib number 32. Here's first of the athletes in leg 1 to go. Ben Ogden going first for the USA. Andrew Young doing the start with James Clooney for Great Britain. Willy Shriv of Slovenia. And once again, Adam Konya of Hungary. He's packed them in this season.
He shows up every week, doesn't he?
Yep.
Keeps on plugging away.
Yep. So 64 athletes lining up, half of them doing the first round, about to start. 1 minute to go, just short of a minute. First away will be the USA. There'll be a little gap then of 30 seconds, 15 seconds between the athletes, but Evan Northug of Norway will be the second to go. Richard Juve of France, wearing bib number 6-1. Renanger of France, wearing 8-1. Here's Ben Ogden, 19th yesterday. Didn't go so well for Ben. The quicker qualifier, but didn't make it through to the semis. He's paired with Gus Schumacher, who was 12th.
On paper, you'd actually think from yesterday's results that Schoonmaker would be in that #1 team. He made it through to the final yesterday, but Schumacher's got those distance credentials as well. And team sprint's an interesting one. It is a sprint, but it's not as well. By the time you do 3 laps of this course, you need a bit of endurance to get you around that last time.
Yeah, a lot shorter rest, obviously. 3 minutes-ish to recover.
I always think a team sprint is like the world's hardest interval session. You're going absolutely flat out 3 times round with equal rest, or depending on your partner, roughly equal rest. So it's you can really feel it. The lungs are burning, the legs are burning. You're just about getting your breath back, and then it's time to go again.
It is one of the best ways of training, isn't it? As a team, if you can get other nations, if you're training early season perhaps in Norway or somewhere, and there's 1 or 2 nations, and you put on a little team sprint competition, it's a great way of doing interval training.
Yeah, good fun. Definitely a good workout. If you're feeling mean, your coaches might make you do more than 3 rounds as well.
Yeah, without telling you.
It's the bonus final round that kills you.
Time yesterday for the men. Chanavar of France did 2:46. It was a little later in the day. Saw the conditions get a little slower and then speed up as we went to the finals towards the end of the day, as the sun disappeared and it cooled down again. Second long hill, and we'll see the just little loop that they've added at the top here of around about 4 or 5 meters, just to accommodate the fact that there'll be 15 athletes going around that. Here's for the first loop, maybe the second or third.
Joni Mäki at the start line there, getting a good cheer from the crowd. Mäki had a pretty good race yesterday as well, so should be feeling confident going into today's race, and paired with Borden as well, so potentially a pretty strong team there.
Kevin Bolger of the USA Team 2. He's going with JC Schoonmaker. Here's Ben Ogden. It's a 2:50. 4 seconds slower than Chanavar's best time. Kevin Bolger was the 30th quickest yesterday. He was 2:52. Here's Evan Northug. He was just ahead of Ben Ogden at the top of the hill, the last hill.
And he's going to be well inside that time of Ogden. Well, I say well inside. He should have a couple of seconds up on Ogden here.
Right, there we go.
Underrated that one, didn't I? I thought he had massive. Those finishing straights always catch you out, don't they? I was in front, but just by a second there.
They look shorter than they are, don't they? Yannick Riedli goes ahead of Northug. And good to see he's paired with a healthy Valero Grande after yesterday's shenanigans on the crossing line, and we saw that Pellegrino is still in 3rd place, so whatever decision they came to yesterday with regard to that little clash at the finish line, it didn't change the results. Next to finish will be Martino Carollo young man from Italy. You had to come from Italy with the name Martino Corollo, didn't you?
Absolutely.
And Renaud, well, you have to come from either East Canada or France, I think.
Pretty good time from Jay. Second off of Reevely, ahead of Nortug and Ogden at the finish there. So a little less margin for error in this men's race. We've got, again, more teams. We've got 35 teams and 15 going through again. So I think in that women's race was pretty confident that we could maybe ease off a little bit like we saw Skistad do and still get through. But in the men's race, less margin for error.
Vic, who is paired with Mats Jensen. No Eric Valnes racing today. The volume goes up. Here's Joni Mäki. And that's a good time. Kevin Bolger next. 30th quickest in qualification yesterday on this course.
That's pretty good, actually.
This is good, yeah. Well done.
Obviously, learned a few things about the course from his run-outs yesterday to move up the standings there today.
Next to cross the line will be Elias Keck, who had a good qualifying round yesterday, but I think we saw him fall, didn't we? I think he had a little bit of drama. It's a reasonably good time, 3 seconds down. Koenig of Austria is next, and then we're just looking out for Great Britain's Andrew Young. Here he is. The gap 15 seconds at the start, so he's going to be up, I think.
Made time up on Makonic of Austria there. It's pretty good today. It's looking better than yesterday.
Nice one, nice one.
You've done that yesterday, Andrew. That's what we needed from you. Good. That was a good ski from him.
This is good from the car. He also was looking strong yesterday. Goes ahead of Nortug. Emil Danielsson next of Sweden 2.
It's going to be a couple of seconds back, not too bad.
Willy Shriv nowhere in sight. I think that's a good indicator that if you don't come into view as the athlete before you finishes, then you're going to be more than 15. Well, you haven't closed up any of that 15-second gap, and Willy Shriv clearly has not done that. In fact, he's lost a few seconds. Thomas Stephen next of Canada. Canada 2, and then Canada 1. Behind him is Xavier McKeever. 3 of the 4 Canadians, all juniors. Canada are building a strong team for the future.
And their relay results, I know it wasn't team sprint, it was relay, but they really outperformed as a team in the World Championships relay. And that's exciting for the future.
Janis Grimek of Germany, 19th, so Fottinger has work to do. Only 15 go through. Noah Naff of Switzerland, that's good.
Good.
He's not teamed with his brother. His brother is Roman Alder. Martin Himmer of Estonia. Work to do. Estonia 1. In fact, I think they only have one team in this race. So Ralph Kivil, who can perform, has got a lot of work to do to make the top 15. Anzi Gross. And then behind him, Lars Youngvik of Australia.
just outside qualifying yesterday. And good again today, 5 seconds off the time of Reebley to come in 19th there. So he is a way down. But times are staying quite tight at the moment here.
Starriga of Poland, and then it's Puello of Spain. Can his teammate Colel Pantebri get through? A lot of... He's young, isn't he? Go on,
yeah, I think Puello's the much stronger athlete of the two of them there. So probably really relying on Puello to do a lot of the grunt work. Last couple of teams coming across the lines here. Lissahor for Ukraine coming up, and then we can see just behind that Herban Zhang of China. So he's made up good amount of time on Lissahor here, so we'll keep an eye out on this one. Still going to be down the results, 24th, 9 seconds back.
No sign of Kamil Burry of Poland 2 coming into view behind the Republic of China. So I know one of the two teams of Poland dropped out. I think that's why. Is Poland 2, unless they've mixed the teams up. I know Starriga just finished. So
yeah, Poland 2's DNS and
right.
Poland 1 still in the mix today.
Last two to finish. An FIS team.
Slightly surprising they've put Celis Gash of Spain in that FIS team and paired Puello with Colel Pantebra, because Celis Gash is the one we've seen more regularly on the World Cup before, so I'd have expected him to be. In fact, he and Puello qualified for the final in Davos in the team sprint, so a little surprising, but maybe wanting to give the younger athletes the experience at this level, skiing with his teammate.
That could explain it. Adam Konya of Hungary finishes round 1 of the men's qualification. Yannick Reebley the quickest. Kevin Bolger in second place, second quickest, and Yuri Tuz of Czechia in third.
Yeah, good ski from Yuri Tuz, and it's interesting, the results on the screen are quite matching with my FIS website results, which are putting Bolger just ahead of Tuz, actually.
Yeah, me too. But all three of them definitely in.
Plenty easily up there at the moment, so just got to make sure their teammates do the same job. And good to see Andrew Young finishing in 9th overall out of those first leg skiers, so just 2.5 seconds off the pace today, so that's kind of more what we'd expect to see from him. And yeah, good confidence boost towards the end of the season to have a stronger finish. Hopefully Clooney can do the same on leg 2 and they can get through to that final. Actually had a pretty good run out here a couple of years ago. I was checking back because they have had good team sprints in their time. They were 7th here 2 years ago, which is the last time it was a skate team sprint. So great to see if they could match that result again today. So, how hard do you think Klæbo is going to go on this round?
Yeah, good question. So Northug is 182 down, 1 second, 0.82 down on Yannick Reebley. Northug's not going to be bothered about positioning. He will absolutely want to qualify, of course, but it matters not where. I think there's a sense of pride where he'd want to be in somewhere near the front of the mass start.
yeah, you want to set your intentions, and you know, you don't want to have to work through too much traffic. So if you qualify in 15th, like the Norway one team have just done in the women's, you do have to, you know, manoeuvre a little bit more to get through, get your way up to the front. So it's not ideal, it's not the end of the world. You know, we're not talking about a 100-person mass start, but I think there's benefits to being a little bit further towards the front.
Schumacher of the USA will go first in round 2. No Pellegrino for Italy 1. David Grass and Pellegrino not racing. So second away will be bib number 1, Johannes Hosford-Klæbo with Norway 1. And Valerio Grande of Switzerland paired again with Yannick Riebli. Good to see he's still walking, slightly wounded yesterday.
Good bump to the head from that finish yesterday.
Yeah, head and chest as well. I think, yeah, it was a fairly brutal fall at speed. Schoonmaker making up Team 2 for the USA. Clune of Great Britain racing with Andrew Young.
Stadium filling up a little bit as well ahead of the finals, and no doubt with ski jumping and Nordic combined on the menu here as well in Lahti. And a good day's entertainment.
Yeah, busy weekend here in Lahti. I wonder if the Finns built 3 ski jumps just to get one up on... they have to get one up on Sweden because they don't do ski jumping. I've always thought that's a little odd, but one up on Holmenkoll. Away goes Gus Schumacher of the USA. 12th yesterday, didn't make the final. This is looking pretty rapid.
It looks good. It's amazing actually how quickly it is softening up. Sun's pretty strong out there today, and so we said in the women's race it looked like perfect tracks. Already that hill's starting to look a little bit softer.
Rapid, very, very impressive start from Johannes Klæbo. I think he wants the quickest time. I think, yeah, it is slowing down, so harder in round 2. Valerio Grande has the benefit of only having a 15-second gap up to Klæbo. On this course, I think there's 1 or 2 places where you will be able to see the athlete in front. Edvin Anger goes second for Sweden 1. Next to go will be Jules Chapaz of France, who is on storming form. Racing for France 1 with Richard Jouve.
Richard Jouve was in 15th on the first leg, so Chapaz needs to have a good qualifier here just to guarantee them that entry through to the final. I should do it. I'm not too concerned about it, but he'll certainly have in the back of his mind there's a little bit more pressure on him than some of these skiers.
Already Anger and others going wider, further out, trying to get the cleaner, fresher snow that's over on the right-hand side.
Anger's another one, in fact. His teammate Skoglund was in 17th place on the first leg. So, again, he's got to make a little bit of time up here. He, again, should do it. You'd expect some of these teams have gone with their stronger skiers on the second leg, not unsurprisingly, so they can be in there for the sprint to the finish if it comes to it, but certainly no rest for Anger here.
Well, he's often one of the easily, typically inside the top 5 quickest in individual qualifying.
For sure. Or a fast qualifier, I should say.
It's always a little challenge, I think, for Sweden. Who is the second man for the team sprints for Sweden? Here comes Schumacher, just a second.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
Outside
good
the time
speed
Reedley.
from him.
That's positive. You'll be pleased. Yep.
Schumacher's an interesting one in that we often talk about people going from sprints and graduating up to the distance races, whereas I feel like he's almost done the opposite in that he started off as a stronger distance skier and seems to have learned how to find that top speed and get his way through the rounds. Klæbo, yeah, no question there.
So quicker than the quickest in round one. That's a fairly strong statement. Valerio Grand is not going to match him. He's going to be 3 or 4 seconds off. Well, almost.
We'll let you have that.
Here comes Edvin Anger. And
good.
This is strong.
Yeah, that should do it. Talking about he needed to make a little bit of time up. I think he's done what he needed there.
We haven't seen Chapaz yet, but here he comes. Not going to match. Where is he? He is.
So good.
Oh, he made that last 50 meters look very short. Very good. Goes ahead of Klæbo. Next is Italy's Team 2. Team 1 not racing. Helvega paired with Martino Carollo. Lucas Shanavar next. Didn't go well for him yesterday.
Yeah, but down to Team 2, he's probably doesn't a bit of a pride thing for him, I would have thought, after being so consistently France's #1 sprinter, but didn't make it through the quarterfinals. A rare tactical mistake from him, I think, in the way he skied that.
Karl Novak, a little slower.
Not quite there today.
5:37 off the pace of France 2 as a team.
Jensen's going to be a little bit further back as well here. It's going to be 6, 7 seconds back. They're not.
The crowd will raise the volume now as they cheer Vuorinen into the finish. Finland won, paired with Jonimäki, both of them on good form. 5:48 is possibly good enough, I think.
I think Mackey's in 15th at the moment, and that's with some of those leg 2 skiers in as well. So I think combined time, they should be okay, but...
Schoonmaker gets in a tidy time, just...
good from both US teams.
Half a second down on Andrew Young's time earlier. And that is good from Cherney.
Norway 2 looking at a little bit of danger here, I have to say. Norway 2 sitting in last place of all the teams that have had both skiers out so far.
Strong finish from Stobel. We're not surprised by that. Next will be Benny Moser of Austria, who is some way back. How did Austria do on the first leg?
Didn't have a great lap on the first leg either. He's quite a bit down the results.
And we're looking for James Clooney now.
James.
Come on. Let's get in there, James.
Yeah, he's off a little bit here. But it's all about the combined time, and Andrew had a good first leg.
So that'll be a question mark, 6:45.
It'll be tight, 14th at the moment.
I think Finland too are going to probably go ahead of them.
No, just behind.
Oh,
remember that. It's the combined time, so although Clooney's down a little bit, Andrew Young had a really good leg on the first one, so still hanging in there for now.
And just ahead of Sweden too. That's encouraging. At the moment, starting to look slightly nail-bitingly good. Come
we
on,
got to have
Great
a
Britain.
few left before I'm going to feel confident about this one, I have to say. should make it. I think James needs to buy Andrew a drink later on to say thank you for this, because that was takes two, but I think he only did his share of the work there to get them through. This
is Austria.
Voting is in that FIS team, so taking 15 seconds out of Carl Johnson. I'm surprised about that. Carl Johnson's not a bad sprinter here, but doesn't look very snappy. And he's been caught for 15 seconds. Yeah, here we go.
This is why.
Yeah.
Well.
Oh, it's just, it's not too bad yet, but it's just getting a little bit of sugar on top, and it just takes a moment's lapse of concentration and you're down.
Yeah, we saw one or two of those yesterday. Not many, actually. There was no major dramas. Actually, most of the drama coming on the finish line, on the final. Ralph Kivil.
Who's that's gone in front? GB down to 15th now. I think that was Switzerland 2 with Noah Naff and Roman Older coming in 11th there. So in that last spot now.
Oh, come on.
I think they should be okay.
25. So we've got Australia to finish with Di Campo.
They won't.
No Poland. Well, Poland won our racing, but they're just coming into view now. Sturega was first for Poland. We are hoping. Oh, it's looking good. Well, good for Britain.
Very biased commentary going on, but yeah, I think.
Okay, Spain. Puello was first.
And Palel Pantebra, the younger skier, coming in for the second leg here. A little bit of a way down, but good experience for him. He's not had a lot of run-outs on the World Cup just yet. Gantz has made up a lot of time here.
Second slower than Great Britain, who are sitting in 15th place. Only the top 15 will go through, and it's looking...
They should be okay here.
Okay, unless there's some major surprises from the last few teams.
Wang of China. Actually not quite as far up as I thought he'd be, but his teammate is not as strong as him anyway, so combined they're still down the results there. And we just got 3 teams to come in here. I haven't seen the Koreans too often on the World Cup this year. I think must have come over for the World Championships and then stayed around for these last World Cups of the season. So racing Holmenkollen this weekend as well, but didn't see them at all before Christmas. And it is good to get a more world representation in the World Cup. Yeah, and then just Hungary to come. So they have snuck through there.
Snuck through. The Brits have snuck through and grabbed that 15th slot.
I'll have to say Norway too again. They've just probably defined 14th as sneaking through as well. Vika and Jensen just in 14th, just 0.04 of a second in front of GB. And then Sweden 2, which is Emil Danielsson and George Persson, going to be in that frustrating 16th spot.
Well, we'll almost certainly see Adam Buki tomorrow in the 50k. Nothing to lose and a great experience to experience. Jules Chapaz of France, the quickest time despite being second leg. Likewise Klabo, second leg. Stobel and Shanava and Anger, as you said earlier, most of the teams put in their quickest athletes second.
And it does suggest that it's it may be slowing down, but not huge. You know, 15 minutes is not a huge amount of time for it to slow down significantly. So I think some of the timings in the women's maybe just about those second lap skiers tactically easing off a wee bit. So France, Norway, USA and Czechia have all taken 2 teams through to the finals. That's good for Czechia. Actually, really good ski by Czechia too, with Seller and Cherney. And Switzerland, in fact.
Switzerland with 2 teams, Posey, did you say?
Yeah, Switzerland's both teams going through.
Well, that concludes the qualification rounds for both the men and the women. The finals coming up at 11:40. So we've got just over an hour break. Here are the start lists for both the men and the women. Top 15 from each of the qualification rounds. Coming up 11:40, the women will go first, and then the men will conclude the cross-country races here for today.